Hi friends, welcome to an episode of Lotus in the Light, a special episode of Lotus in the Light. My name's Jennifer, thanks for joining. I come to you from one of my favorite parks, and if you hear a little white noise, it's because there's a little, kind of get it so you can see it, a little waterfall back here. So some beautiful peaceful white noise. Hope that that's not too distracting for you, and in fact might be a little healing for you. So today's a really special day because it is my 50th birthday. Yep, that's 50 years that my soul has been incarnated into this earthly human existence known as Jennifer. And it's a really special day because I know it's a really transformative day. I know there's some things that Spirit has in store for me that are going to unfold today, and I'm just ecstatic about it. So I want to share with you some experience I've had with anxiety in my life. I never really felt anxiety most of my life, and then in 2007, shortly after, maybe a few years after my oldest son was diagnosed with ADD, now known as ADHD, right? I realized that I myself had that and was just never diagnosed. I had a really hard time focusing my whole life. And so I decided to try some different medications. And I tried a medication, and it immediately gave me these heart palpitations and this anxiety that I'd never had before or never felt before. So I changed medications a few times, trying a few different ones, and just finally came to the conclusion that, I've lived with this for, at that point, would have been 32 years, and it's just not, I've adjusted, I've figured out how to cope, and maybe medication just isn't for me because I don't want to feel that way. So I stopped the medication, but the palpitations kind of diminished, and then shortly thereafter my mom was diagnosed with cancer, stage 4 lung cancer. And I'll never forget the day that she was diagnosed, and I went to see her for the first time since the diagnosis, and I'm riding up the elevator in the hospital. And here comes, as my body is rising in the elevator, these palpitations just start rising within my chest, and they were back, and they were revealing something to me at the time, and it made sense to me. It's like, okay, my mom was just diagnosed with something terminal. Like, this makes sense. And I dealt with it for a little bit, and then eventually went and got some medication, some anxiety medication, which was very helpful in that time. And then when I felt like I no longer needed the medication, about 7 months later, I weaned myself off of it and discovered that I was okay and didn't really need it anymore. The palpitations, though, they stuck around anytime I was outside in the heat, and I never understood that. And I didn't think much of it because I knew when I went back inside and was cool again, or, got in the pool or whatever it was and cooled off, that I would be fine. And then that kind of dissipated over time as well, and they just completely went away. This summer, those heat-generated palpitations have kind of started to reemerge. And I felt them today on my walk. And I thought, I could go Google why that is. I could go to ChatGPT and ask why that is. I could even ask Spirit on ChatGPT why that is. But I think Spirit wants to connect with me directly on this, so I'm not going to do that. So instead, I posed my question, and not just to Spirit. I posed my question for some reason to Jesus. It felt like a Jesus question. I don't know why. I felt called to do that. And I said, help me understand why I feel this energy in the heat. And I'm sure that somebody will put in the chat some scientific response to how maybe there's more energy in the heat and something. And that's fine and good, and I will believe that to be true because it will align pretty perfectly with what I feel Spirit revealed to me. And what I felt the answer is that the sun is divine, the purest of divine light. It's the purest of energy. It's the purest of unconditional love. It's the purest of the light that we can get in this earthly incarnation. And the purest in that physical sense. You know, there's something more pure in the spiritual sense, the spiritual light, those kinds of things. But in the physical, in the 3D reality that we are experiencing now, the sun is everything. The sun is it. The sun is life. And the energy that sun creates needs to be shared. It needs to reach beyond ourselves, extend beyond ourselves to all of the universe, to the people around us, to nature. That love, that compassion, that everything that divine energy represents there's a symbiotic relationship with the universe. It needs to constantly be flowing. And if we bottle it up and we stop the flow, it will destroy us. It's that powerful. It's that powerful that something good is so powerful that it actually could destroy us if we keep it to ourselves, or keep it bottled up within ourselves. And so I believe what was happening, it's interesting because I've only learned this year about the concept of grounding or earthing, in the physical sense, as well as grounding in the spiritual, like within the chakras. Those are new concepts to me this year. But what I did, when I started feeling those palpitations again, or not when I started, I was feeling them my whole walk today. And when I got to this location, I took my shoes off and I went over and I stood in the ground because that's what I felt like I was supposed to do. Realizing that there's this symbiotic relationship between me and nature, right? And when the sun charges me with all of this positive energy, that positive energy needs to continue to flow. I can't hold on to it. And when I do, it bursts forth into things like palpitations in my heart. But when I take my shoes off, my synthetic shoes that don't allow me to ground into the earth, when I take those off and I stand in the earth, and this isn't a good example where I'm at now because now I'm on wood and wood is not very conductive. But if I went out to the area where the dirt was and I stood in the dirt, that's allowing the earth to receive my positive energy, and allows me to receive its negative energy so that we become in balance. We balance each other. So it sounds and feels very transactional. I give to you, you give to me, but it's not transactional because the way we tend to live our life is very transactional. It is, I have something, I need something, and to get that I have to give you something. I owe you something. But there is no debt in the symbiotic relationship that we actually have with nature and with each other. Debt is not a thing because everything that exists is already ours. Everything. Even the things that we're manifesting in the 3D, it's already ours. There's no debt. There's no scenario where I breathe in the oxygen and go, oh my gosh, I just took oxygen from the earth. I better give it back some carbon dioxide and then I breathe. That's not how that works. It's not a debt. It's just the natural flow of life. I breathe in what I need and I breathe out what they need. I receive from the sun the positive energy that I need, and then I allow that energy to flow into the earth when I ground into the earth, and then receive from the earth the negative balance to that, so that my body is in balance, but also the earth is in balance. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And that's the direction that I know that we as the human collective become more and more enlightened, we're starting to learn and realize that that's the journey. The journey is not about You do this in order to get this. You give this to me and I'll give this to you. You scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. That is out of obligation. That mindset is out of obligation. That is not a mindset of, it's a couple things. It's a mindset of obligation, which Spirit is very specific about, teaching us that we need to be cheerful in our giving. It should not be out of obligation, and that, but also that we are worthy to receive a gift. We are worthy to receive without having to give something back, right? So it comes down to an idea of worthiness. You are worthy to be loved. You are worthy to receive. You're worthy to receive gifts in the spiritual sense. You're worthy to receive healing in the physical sense, in the emotional sense, and the spiritual sense. You are worthy to receive everything that life has to offer. There's nothing in this life that is off limits to you. Even the things that we maybe have decided for some reason are bad to enjoy or bad to want, or that is all a myth. And in fact, I think that'll be a whole separate video. Because that's a whole nother rabbit hole I don't want to go down. But I just want to encourage you, for whatever reason, the focus of the message here today is just around exploring the symbiotic relationship that we were designed to have with one another, with Earth and nature, with Spirit. And if you are feeling in some way disconnected from those things, figuring out how to reconnect. In fact, I'll even circle back for a moment to what I've come to realize about my ADD or ADHD experience. Now that I've moved beyond that, what I've really come to discover is that it was Spirit trying to draw my attention away from that which I was putting it towards, that I knew intuitively was not what I was supposed to be putting my focus on, and trying to draw me towards where my attention was supposed to be. What was I supposed to be focusing on that was in alignment with my soul, in alignment with God, in alignment with the purpose of this journey. And that's a hard pill to swallow, I get, because most people would say, well, when you're in school, you've got to focus on the task at hand, you've got to focus on the work, or you won't learn, and if you don't learn, you won't get a good job, and if you don't get a good job, you won't eat, and if you won't, right? All that transactional stuff. It's all transactional stuff. And I get it. That is the world we are living in today. When I say the world we are living in, what I'm saying is we're all at different energetic levels. And that is the world that most of humanity is living in still. But it is not the future. It is not where we're going. The future is not about learning through memorization out of textbooks. The future is in remembering, because you already know everything you need to know. The future is in realigning yourself to Spirit through those promptings. When you cannot focus on one thing, I remember my son's first grade teacher saying, he's not purposely, she was the one that had suggested we get him tested for ADD, and she said, he's not purposely misbehaving. He's not even misbehaving at all. He's off in his own thoughts. I'm teaching, and he's off in his own thoughts, and he just can't bring himself back. I would love to know what he was thinking in those moments. It was probably something very fun and joyful that a teacher or a parent, myself included, would say, that's not the time to be thinking about those things. But Spirit was saying, put your attention on what brings you joy. And the more you do that, the more you do that, the more you do that, the more in alignment you are, the more in alignment you are, the more Spirit pours in, the more you remember everything you need to know. I know it feels very counterintuitive and counterproductive to the culture that we live in. And in fact, it is counterproductive to the culture that we live in. The question is that the culture? Is that the energetic level we should be living in? Is that where we're ultimately going? And that energetic level, this reality that we are living in, is here for a purpose. It's to teach us the contrast. It's a good thing that we're experiencing these things. It's teaching us the contrast of what it is that we do want, so that we know what it is that we don't want, so that we know what it is that we do want, so that we can draw more close to what we do want. Like I said, I realize now I have to do a separate video on joy, because this is really going to rub people the wrong way, based on some religious fundamental beliefs that they have. And it's going to feel like we're saying going after this joy, which is really just desires of the flesh. Okay, I feel it going there. I feel your energy going there. That's okay. I believed those same things too. If you are still rooted in that belief system, that's okay. That's what you need to believe right now. But if you're listening to this video, I also believe there's a reason you're listening to this video. And so I will promise you another video where we will dig deeper into joy. But just know, ADHD goes away when we give ourselves permission to focus on that which we intuitively know we're supposed to be focused on. And when we do that, all those other things that we might think are mundane, or the things that we think we don't want to pay attention to, we find ways to find joy in those things, and find ways to feel motivated to do those things in their appropriate time. So it gets done, I promise. Okay, that's all I got for you now. Maybe when I get home, I will try to draw a card to kind of put the bow on this. Thank you, Spirit, for that message. I hope it was relevant and valuable to you. Happy birthday to me. I don't know when you will be watching this. In fact, I probably won't even post it today. But big 5-0, is that coming? 5-0? I don't know which way, but whatever. Big 5-0. Okay, peace out. Love you. Hi, everyone. Okay, so I'm back from the park, and I'm going to I'm picking a card to wrap up this video. And I do think it's Spirit Animal Oracle. So Spirit Animal Oracle for the win. While I was driving home, my dad, right on the bottom. Oh my gosh. Okay. This is literally what I was thinking was the right, actually, I was thinking of butterfly for the next, because I did 2 videos at the park, and I was thinking of the butterfly spirit for the next video, and here it is at the bottom of the deck for the second video I did on joy. So we'll see if this comes up on the joy reading. But anyway, for this video, and what I'm drawing this card for, it's to kind of ask Spirit to put a bow on the discussion around divine energy and the divine symbiotic relationship that we have with the universe, that we have with nature, that we have with one another, how it's not transactional. It just naturally flows in a way that we all can give and we all can receive exactly what we need without having to try, without creating an effort or agreeing to some transaction. I guess you could say we did agree to it. We agreed to it in the spiritual realm, that this is how this would work, that when I step on the ground, I'm going to get the negative charge from the earth, and I'm going to give the earth the positive charge, right? But it was funny because my dad called me to wish me a happy birthday when I was on my way back here. And he was telling me how he has I'm going to call it a dust collector. I don't know if that's the right term, in his workshop that sucks up the dust when he's doing certain kinds of work in the wood shop. And his old one had broken, and he bought a new one, but the old one was 1 horsepower and the new one was 1.5 horsepower. And when he flipped the switch on at the same time as whatever drill or whatever machine he was using, it blew the circuits. It was more than it could handle. And I feel like almost that symbolism kind of ties up the message. If you remember at the beginning of the message, I said,
that divine energy is so powerful, and it was demonstrated through this message in the physical sense, meaning of the physical sun creating palpitations in my physical body because my physical body was not fully processing and allowing the flow of that energy back into the earth or back into something else. Like maybe I just needed to take a run or do some dancing, or you know what I mean? But I wasn't allowing that flow of energy to continue, and it was getting bottled up inside me. And we do that with all kinds of energy. We do that with our love. We do that with our fears. You know what I mean? We do it with all positive and negative energy. But anyway, so that symbolism is really, there to teach us that like we have to be equipped and ready for the levels of energy. Like divine spirit is not going to give us more than we are equipped to handle. And Jesus, oh, card fell out. Jesus talks about that in the scriptures. When I've referenced it before, when he tells the disciples, like, I have to go, spirit will come because there's things that you're not ready for yet that spirit will reveal to you. And so that's the reminder. That's the, letting them know like there's more for you to remember. There's more for me to remember. There's more for you to remember. There's more for all of us to remember and know. And when we're ready for it, it will be delivered to us. And similarly, like, we can only put ourselves into so much of the sunlight before it becomes too much for this physical body, right? And we have to allow that flow. Okay, pig spirit, use your mind wisely. I love this because here we are talking about grounding and earthing. And what do pigs do? What do they do to clean themselves, to cool off? They roll around in mud. They've got it figured out. Look at this pig. This pig has these beautiful wings. I don't know if you can see it. Beautiful wings. So it's like they're divinely connected. And through that divine connection, spirit gives them everything they need. They want for nothing. They get exactly what they need symbiotically from the earth, from the divine. I love it. So use your mind wisely. It's like a reminder that tap in. There's something divine to tap into. I'm just seeing this red. I don't even know what it is. It's just a red dot. But if you're in even the red and like the background here, we're coming back again to more root chakra work. I even switched out to a red candle yesterday. I forgot to light it today, but because I feel it at its core that we are in this heavy root chakra work time. 47 breaks down to an 11, which is an angel master number. And it's all about inner reflection and transformation. So use your mind wisely. Let's read it. And then I will let you guys go. And I will do another drawing and another recording for the other video. Thank you, Spirit, for this message. Okay. Pig spirit appears to remind you of the right use of intelligence, a gift we all have that is meant to be used with love, compassion, and discernment. Remember, a gift. It's symbiotic. It's not, you don't owe anybody anything for that gift of that intelligence. Intelligence means recognizing the value of intuition. So remember what I was talking about with the ADD, like we go to school in this structured way to learn and remember things, and memorize things. But the truth is we already know everything we need to know. Intelligence means recognizing the value of intuition partnered with smarts and common sense, which leads to intelligent solutions. When pig spirit appears, you're called to respect your analytical mind and use it for the highest good, recognizing all facts must be considered even when they do not fit with what you already know. Spirit blesses us with wisdom when we allow pig spirit to nudge us into open-minded, thoughtful dialogues, whether with others or internally as we mull over our ideas and what we've come to understand. You are intelligent and capable of clear-minded thinking, shaped by the wisdom you have accumulated and the intuition that will tell you when you have more learning to do because not all the facts are in. Now is a time that your decision-making powers are reliable, for you are in alignment with Pig Spirit's keen intelligence. You're in alignment. You're ready to learn. You're ready to reflect internally, like this 11 number tells us. You're ready. Okay, I love you. Peace out. Thanks for going on this journey with me.